Yo guys, this is a big shout out to Brian, Nico, Mike and Dustin from Don't Go Out There podcast. My name's Simon Ellis, as you know, and I play Tucker in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. One of the rednecks in the last kind of fight scene where four of us try and save the girls. But do we? I may or may not die horrifically. But I tell you something, Brian, Nico, Mike and Dustin. If you haven't watched this film, it's going to be your unlucky day. So, a bit more about the film, yeah? Filmed it in the UK in a town called Lewes. Is in East Sussex, in the wood. It was a night shoot, a very cold night shoot. A good 9-10 hours, up and down in the forest. And yeah, some great fight scenes. Yeah, this film has opened a lot of doors for me. I've done a lot of horror films, and I'd say this is in the top 3 for sure. And guys, I do love a good death scene. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day, and I hope this message serves you well. Keep punching.
Hey guys, I'm doing a massive shout out to Brian, Dustin, Nico and Mike. I know you guys have got a podcast. I'm super excited I could do this for you. You know, it's a vibe. Just to give you a bit of insight, trivia, you know, we actually filmed the road scene where I'm like dying before we filmed the hot tub scene. So it was literally the day before we filmed the road scene. So I was like freezing cold, and the next day I was like, I don't think I can do this, guys, because I was like so cold still. That was like, how am I going to do this hot tub scene? But I powered through, and it was super hard. It took about 4 hours to film that road scene. And we did reshoots. So, you know, just one of the things. Also, with horror movies, you find that actually filming them, like any dialogue, it's like rushed through. It's like, yeah, whatever. But then when it comes to the death scene, that's like a massive thing. Like, that's the moment in a romance movie where they finally kiss. It's like the death scene, you know? I've got something super cool coming up. Cinderella's Curse exclusives. It's going to come out in March, I think, in cinemas. I'm pretty sure. So look forward to that. I played the ugly stepsister. I love your podcast. Keep on doing it. I'm going to make a podcast. Maybe. I want to do it, you know? But anyway, also remember, don't go out there.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie
Welcome back,
Podcast.
everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. We really appreciate all support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, I just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgooutthere.com. My man Brian has done a fantastic job with the website. He's got it looking great. Everything about our podcast is on there. All of our episodes and interviews from episode 1 to our weekly release. If you want to check out all of our episodes there, maybe you have an office job, don't have access to your phone, you can listen on your desktop computer. We've done some incredible interviews in the past with some of the biggest names in horror, some of your favorite slashers, writers, directors. Check out our interviews if you haven't heard those yet. We got our store. We got some new T-shirts. Brian and Dustin have done some fantastic designs if you want to check those out. And we also have Shan's Etsy page attached as well if you want to grab a tumbler. And we also have our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We love interacting with our fans. We love, meeting new people. We love answering your comments and questions on the air. So definitely check us out on social media. And the last thing I want to shout out is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. You're a big fan of our podcast, a big fan of our show. You want to help support us. That option is available. And we also have one-time donations. If you want to donate and, if you have a film review you want us to do, that option is available as well. All right, guys, let's jump into the film review. I'm excited I know Brian is excited to start this themed month off, and it's his pick. Brian, you want to go ahead and announce your pick?
Let's go, buddy.
Super excited about it. So I picked Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Mike. It's honey. All right, so when Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain in 2021, I heard that we were getting this Winnie the Pooh horror movie. I admit I had a morbid curiosity on what this was going to be like when it released earlier this year. And look, this movie isn't good. But, I mean, we've definitely seen worse. I mean, I'd rather watch this than Audition or Rubber or Thanksgiving, to be honest. And with that said, I mean, this may end up being the best movie we watched this month, legitimately.
No.
Thanks, Dustin. Thanks, Dustin.
No.
And look, these costumes don't look good. They look more like Bebop and Rocksteady from fucking Ninja Turtles than Pooh and Piglet, and that's fine. You know, it's what you would expect. I'll put it that way. It's not like Rubber, where it's unwatchable to me. I mean, it has great gore, but not gross out like Drag Me to Hell. It has terrible plot, some nudity. It can be fun, and you know what? It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. Now, don't get me wrong, it sucks, but go in knowing that, and you may laugh some, and like I said, have some fun. I mean, Christ. I mean, the movie was shot in 8 days. What do you expect? Come on. I think this will eventually become one of those movies that people play like in the background of some party, like in Scream, where you don't have to watch it, but if you do, you can have those loud reactions where people get killed. You know what I'm talking about. So I don't know if all that made any sense, but that's the best I could put into words, really. But
Dustin, I'm going to let you go next and to kind of explain your theme one more time.
My theme was like, how could I torment Brian the most? And I was like,
you did fantastic, bro.
Like I said, the reason I picked this theme, I called it Feel My Pain, is because I went to watch Beau is Afraid earlier this year, and I was like, I got to get these guys to watch it, but I know they're not just going to watch it on their own. So it has to be when we review it. How can I pick a theme that it fits? And I was like, well, because I wouldn't say that Beau is Afraid is bad, but it was like a 3-hour acid trip. I walked away from the theater not knowing what the hell I just watched. I still don't know what the hell I watched. And so I was like, all right, guys, that's the theme. Let's all pick something that is like, it might be bad. It might fit the description how I said Beau is Afraid, but like you want us to go through what you went through. You want us to have to watch it because you watched it. Because we have a rule in our group chat. If something comes across our timeline on Twitter X, that's, shockingly horrific, I'm going to send that link because, look, if I had to see it, you have to see it. So that's kind of what this theme was. And
I did not vote on that rule, by the way. It just kind of happened, I believe. It was just instituted. There's no democracy for this rule.
Oh, yeah, that was all me. And it's kind of like what Mike said the other day. Dustin's rules don't apply to him.
Uh-huh.
You're damn right. I instituted a lot of rules. But
he didn't fucking follow any of them. Just expects us to.
Yeah. That's what friends do. But my thoughts on this movie, though, when it came out, I wanted to go see it in theater. Like, I was stoked because when I saw the trailer, I was like, holy shit, what a flaming bag of dog shit. I got to see this. I got to see it. But unfortunately, in Knoxville, it was only in theaters like one day. And so I didn't know that. So I was like, I'll go see it this weekend. Nope. And they even told me when I went like 2 days later, and I was like, hey, are you guys not showing Winnie the Pooh anymore? They said no, and they're like, we were surprised at how well it did. Like, it was sold out. It was, I don't know if they said sold out, but they sold a lot of tickets for it. And so as soon as it hit Peacock, I was like, man, I can't wait to get home and fire up the cock. But I held off for a little bit. I was going to watch it one night, and Brian was like, hold up, don't watch it yet, because I think I'm going to pick it for your bullshit theme. I think that was his direct quote.
That's about right.
And so I held off on watching it, and man, I'm glad I watched it. You're right. It sucks. But my God, did I enjoy it. Like, I knew it was going to suck. So I didn't go into this movie with these expectations of, it being the next Goodfellas. I knew it was going to be bad, so I had fun with it. And it's not just the costume design that's bad. And it's funny that you said it's not like Rubber where blah, blah, blah. The mask was clearly rubber, which irritated the shit out of me. But I knew that it was going to be bad, but I wanted to have some fun with it. The story is not deep at all. Like, at all. It's pretty straightforward. There's no shocking twists or turns. Just like, hey, these animals were abandoned and they went feral. Watch what they do. And so, I could fuck with it, man. I enjoyed it.
Basically what these two guys said, I'm just going to repost what they said. You got to go in with the right mindset. Acting, not good. Pooh and Piglet don't look good. But it's fun. You can have fun with it. Like Brian said, good gore, really good kills. Some of the CGI kind of looks shitty. Some of the dialogue is pretty damn bad, especially the Halloween kills, mob at the end, cringy. Yeah. But hey, good kills though. Still good kills. But like Dustin said, it's not Goodfellas. Never seen that movie. But
we already knew that. I
had to say that.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
It's not a masterpiece, but it's a good time. It's a piece of shit, but it's a good time. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so Brian, right off the rip, you said this movie's not good. Maybe objectively from like a film standpoint, but what is good? Because to me, and you know, you're someone that really doesn't like hardly anything that A24 does. So when you have movies like that out there that offer a lot of deep thinking and a lot of overarching messages and all this other stuff that's hidden within the film, then we get a movie like this that's just fucking fun. This movie's fucking awesome because it's so terrible. I fucking love this movie. Like, look, everything you guys said is right objectively. The costumes are bad. The acting is pretty bad. The dialogue sucks balls. But I love it because of that stuff. Like, because it's so bad, they knew going into the movie they were making a bad movie. Like, you could just tell. And to me, there's a lot of love in it, man. It's a straightforward story that is just an old school slasher with characters you love from your childhood. Like, you look, Winnie the Pooh and fucking Piglet are walking around murdering motherfuckers. Sign me up. Okay? So the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, this movie's fun as hell. Watched it again for this review, and I liked it even more. I just had such a blast with it. It's a fun, quick watch, under 90 minutes. Had a chance to escape life for a while. Like, you know, sometimes things get heavy. You pop on this movie, and you're laughing your fucking ass off within 5 minutes. It's awesome. I love it. I love that this can exist, and I love that something like Nico, like The Lighthouse. Like, I love both of those things can exist in the same damn genre. I thought it was just, it's a fucking awesome bad movie. It's one of my favorite so bad it's goods that I've seen in a very long time.
Hell yeah, brother. It's funny, Nico, when you said that this movie is a piece of shit, but it's a good time. I had PTSD flashbacks. Like, I thought one of my exes was hijacking the show. Talk about me.
Same, brother. Feel that.
Y'all got any more opening thoughts? We just jump into the scene by scene.
Yeah, hey, really quick. I know y'all hated these costumes, and they do look like shit, but for some reason, every kill was fucking hilarious because of them to me. Like, I can't. Anytime they get close up on Pooh's mask, I'm like, this shit is fucking awesome.
Dude, Pooh's mask is less egregious than Piglet's to me. And I've got it in my notes why, but yeah.
And the fucking hog squeals every time Piglet does something. It's awesome. I love it.
Well, I mean, like watching the kill count, like he would go behind the scenes and you could see like even like the people on set were laughing at Pooh walking by because it was so ridiculous. But all right, let's jump into the scene by scene real quick. The film starts with an animation scene and narration of Christopher Robin coming across a group of crossbreeds. In naivety, he became their friend. He left to attend college after years for them to fend for themselves. Winter was cold and barren. Pooh and the others ate Eeyore out of, desperation. They developed a hate for all things human, especially Christopher Robin. They swore to never talk again. 5 years later, when we're in the 100-acre forest, we meet Christopher and his fiancée, Mary. He wants to show her this place to not have secrets, and so she doesn't think he's crazy. She doesn't believe his story and thinks it was all just imaginary friends. Thunder rolls in. She doesn't believe him, but wants to support him. They're starting to leave until we hear an animal noise. Christopher grabs her and they run towards Pooh. She begs to leave, but he says they're in no danger. We see a tombstone to Eeyore and bloody honeypots all around. They go into the childhood home calling for Pooh and Piglet. Mary finds a sketchy drawing and says it's not safe. They hide, hearing someone walking towards them. The oncomer lies down in the bed, and it's nighttime now. Mary and Christopher sneak out quietly. They hear a noise, and Mary goes to hide, but Piglet wraps a chain around her neck. Christopher does nothing but cry out for Piglet to stop. Chris runs away and hides amongst some trees. Pooh appears, walking menacingly towards him. He asks why we used to be friends and tries to run until Piglet corners him. More animation showing Christopher being captured. Title card and opening credits roll. Brian, that's the opening set of scenes. What do you think?
Look, this animated prologue here is the best part of the movie to me. Like, it's not some top-notch animation or anything, but it gets the job done. And this narrator is surprisingly awesome. Like, he sounds like almost like Anthony Hopkins narrating The Grinch. He sounds way, way better than this movie has any business having, to be honest. Now, does what he's saying make a whole lot of sense? Absolutely not. Because, he calls them half-breeds. So Do we have someone out here making human animal half breeds here, or are you saying we have people out here fucking animals? I don't know. But and I know I'm trying to, make sense out of nonsensical, but they're the ones that put it in there. So how the fuck are these animals not able to find anything to eat in 100 acres of woods? Like this isn't the desert or some barren wasteland, as they say. It's literal woods. I mean, you can find anything to eat except Eeyore. Okay, that's a Eeyore joke. Anyway, so now we get Christopher Robin and Mary. Robin is clearly a genius as he got his doctorate in 5 years, as they say. Really? Also, come on. Chris deserves this shit. You have all these friends for years and you ditch them and don't ever come back? Like, damn, that's fucked up. Also, sidebar. Can I ask, where did they get all these campers? Like, are all these like remnants of people they've attacked and eaten in the woods, Chainsaw Massacre style? That's what I'm assuming. I'm throwing that out there in case y'all want to tell me I'm wrong, but that's my headcanon there with that. When they're hiding from Pooh here at the start, I wrote, and instantly it's night. And I guess we're still hiding here because God, it got night like super, super fast. And I honestly hate that it's night because good God, the lighting is so bad in this and you can hardly see anything. And that happens a lot throughout the movie, like no fault of their own. I'm sure that's a budget thing, but damn. I also didn't understand why Christopher Robin hides from them at all. I mean, he's still thinking that they're his friends and he knows them and aren't in any danger. But here we are. And then I see Piglet attacks Mary and he does literally nothing, like Nico said, to stop him, except say, no, don't, please stop, while he just sat there and watched. And then he did the same thing when they cornered him. I can't stand this dude. He deserved this shit. You can't change my mind. Lastly, I also love the opening credits as well. This movie definitely has me sucked in right now.
I'm sorry, you said half breed. I can only think of that really terrible Cher song. So half breed. Okay, anyway. Look, I love this hand drawn cold open. You mentioned the animation. I don't know. It looks pretty reminiscent of like the old books that don't have anything to do with Disney, like some of those really old Winnie the Pooh stuff. So I think that was kind of the inspiration there. And I love this narrator. I literally have that. And look, I actually like this backstory. Is it plausible? Not really. But in this world, given how close Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin are supposed to be, to me that makes sense. They kind of touch on it in a Disney-fied way of their live-action Winnie the Pooh a couple years back. But obviously that's a much softer, family-friendly touch on that. But this is how it could go the other way. And I really like those kind of alternate universes playing against each other. Again, I just love the narrator. He's kind of spot on. Some of those like old-timey fairy tale movies that Disney used to do. I bet they all do turn crazy after they eat Eeyore because, like Dustin likes to say, you are what you eat. And Eeyore was a depressed-ass donkey, man. He was a depressed motherfucker. And they probably absorbed that and became fucking batshit crazy. So I'm not surprised by that. I love this setting. The woods is one of my favorite settings for a horror film. Just the way it's shot. I do think they do a good job on a shoestring budget, which I'll get to at the end. I do have it this week before any questions are asked. I love this setting. I think they get good nature shots. I know Brian was probably mad watching that, but I think they do a good job with the tone of the film. This scene does a good job. You mentioned the hiding scene. Maybe because I'm so bought in already, I'm willing to ignore some of the little flaws that you said because everything you said was right and made total sense. But I actually like this hiding scene. I think it's done pretty well with some tension building, some suspense. Like I love the music they choose to use. I think it's really good, and I like the music. It makes me feel claustrophobic. Animals do retain when you abandon them. Monkeys, dogs, pigs, etc. All those animals remember that. So this is plausible. Like if we're just talking about in the general sense of having a pet, like they do remember that stuff. Ask people who've raised chimps and then given them away. I do wish the kill here was better of Christopher Robin's wife. You don't see it as much as I'd like to, but I like the after effects of it. Last thing, I loved the look of the characters, and I love the title card and credits. Like I know the costumes are bad. I know. But for some reason that adds a lot of charm. Like if they were able to like get the Disney version of Winnie the Pooh and he was walking around in a giant Pooh suit like he was, at Magic Kingdom, that would have bugged me even more. I'll take this. I'll take this all day. It's a fucking man in a bear mask, and I love it. So already I'm bought in. I'm having a great time, even though this thing is kind of a pile of shit. But I like that it's a pile of shit.
Mike, it's funny that you said walking around in a Pooh suit, because that's what you were doing on my front porch. So this set
Brother,
of
I
scenes,
was.
I like the animation and the narrator to start. It makes it really feel like a Winnie the Pooh story. And then it instantly turns dark. It was very well done. And Brian, you mentioned it. That narrator, awesome. We hear the thunder when Christopher is telling Mary that they're not imaginary. And all I could think was, tut, tut, it looks like rain. That's a Winnie the Pooh song. I got a little sad seeing Eeyore's tombstone. Motherfucker was always so depressed that maybe he's better off. His suffering's finally over. And it's funny that like they couldn't find food, because a real one like me, he's a donkey. You know what I eat. Good tension when Pooh returns home and they have to hide. I thought the score was great there. The score is actually really good throughout. So shout out to the composer on that. We get our first kill pretty early on, and it's a brutal one. Choked her out with a chain. Although that chain looked very fake to me. And even if it was a real chain, not sure why Piglet would have such a shiny, new-looking chain out in the forest when they've been abandoned for years. So just attention to detail like that could have went a long way. We get a good look at Piglet and Pooh here, and yeah, they don't look the best. Hopefully they use better masks in the sequel. Piglet's look his looked especially bad, because you could just really tell that it was a mask. You could tell where the mask ended and the person began. There was no blend there. It looks like a fat roll, but it was bad. I do like the use of animation here to illustrate what happened to Chris, or at least what we think happened to Chris. Like they put him in a damn fire pit, and surprise, he's still alive. But whatever.
Can I interrupt that on that too? Because I thought that too. But if you watch that back, that's actually supposed to be his girlfriend Mary, and that's who Pooh drags into the when he's BDSM and like that's the bones that he drags in there, because she was burned.
That's a good point.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing.
That's a good point, because I did have questions about why her skeleton looks like, why she was so decomposed when it had only been a couple hours. So yeah, it makes sense she was charred. Okay, good call. But yeah, the animation there is a good callback to the traditional Winnie the Pooh style, and it's like what we got in the open. Honestly, I would have liked more of that throughout. I think it would have been awesome. It's a solid title card and credit sequence, not bad. It's not a bad open at all, and I'm invested.
Maria is with her therapist. She feels on edge with life. Her therapist says she's taking big steps and making good progress. Maria doesn't feel like much has changed, though. Maria is anxious at work and in big crowds. Her therapist says to disconnect and get out into nature. We see a car driving down a dirt road as we hear a phone call from Tina. She says she will be 2 hours late. Maria walks into an old, abandoned gas station and is scared when the owner reveals himself. Maria bumps into Charlene and she heads back to her car. The women make it to the cabin. They're excited to barbecue and use the pool. Jess takes all the ladies' phones so they can disconnect, to Laura's dismay. Tina arrives finally and gets Maria's voicemail trying to find the place. She walks in the woods and Pooh begins chasing after her. She runs into an old barn and hides by a wood chipper. Pooh walks away and she comes out of hiding. Pooh reappears and grabs her, ripping her shirt off. He bashes her head against the wood chipper, then turns the machine on, grinding her body into mulch. Zoe and Alice go into their bedroom. There's rose petals all over, and Alice doesn't seem too impressed. Some obvious relationship issues going on. Laura is in her room in her underwear, vibing and unpacking. Maria tells her friends about her stalker incident. She noticed small incidents at first until one night she heard something in her house. She looked through the curtains and saw a set of eyes. Police said there was nothing they could do. A month later, she felt uneasy again. One night around 3 a.m., she was asleep in her room and woke up to him pulling her shirt off her shoulder. Police found his computer with loads of info on it. Maria says she feels like she's getting better now. All right, Brian, that's the next set of scenes. What'd you think?
Okay, so we open with Maria, which, can I say, we just literally learned a person was named Mary. So now we get a Maria. And, could we change that up a little bit? Because the first time I watched this, I thought this was Mary, because I'm an ignorant American that can't hear shit. I thought that that's what she said at first, and I was trying to piece together how she survived and why are we not talking about that incident. But anyway, also, Maria is literally the only character they try to give some sort of, not really an arc. I would just say a little bit of a backstory to. It's It's still not enough for me to literally give a shit about her, but it's at least more than the other characters. And that may sound like a complaint, but I mean, who am I kidding? Half of the Friday the 13th movies had these same characters. It's just basically cannon fodder. So whatever, I'm fine with that. It just makes it hard to call these people really by name. So I had to make things up for people so I could remember them. As you'll see as we go along, I had a lot of trouble with that. I also want to say I learned on Dead Meat's podcast that these shots of the woods, plentiful, full of food woods, I'm sure, by the way, are in fact the 100-acre woods that A.A. Milne wrote about in the original Winnie the Pooh books, shot on location. So props for that. I thought that was actually really cool. And like Dustin said, I also want to shout out the music, which first hit me in that last set of scenes, but it's also better than it has any business being as well. So, props to Andrew Scott Bell, who hasn't done anything else I've seen, but he does a great job here. I know a lot of people have said the soundtrack is bland and generic, and one YouTuber said that you could go find it on YouTube in any royalty-free music, but you know what? I liked it, so whatever. Tina, or as I like to call her, Wish.com Lindsay Lohan, first of all, right on brand here for her to walk deeper into the woods to get a better reception, because, that makes total sense. But also, shout out to Pooh. Now, my guy can move, right? I mean, dude out there running a 4.240, sign that joker up. But I love this death scene. Smash her fucking head in and then putting her in a wood chipper. Holy shit. My only complaint is that it was so dark, it was hard to kind of see, but that's fucking awesome. And by the way, I jokingly called her Wish.com Lindsay Lohan, but Tina was really played by May Kelly. Go look at May. It's M-A-Y. Go look at her IMDb page. That shit is full of these types of movies that honestly I kind of want to watch now. Monster NATO, Mary Had a Little Lamb. She has like 12 movies coming out in 2023 alone. Curse of Humpty Dumpty. I mean, what are these movies? I'm in, man. I am in for these movies. Go ahead.
I'm with you. I don't love that we get a little bit of a wonky introduction to a new character, just like that. Like, she's sitting around, or she's talking to a therapist, and again, just completely different from the cold open that we saw. So I wasn't a huge fan of that, but again, I'm willing to forgive it because at least they're giving someone some character depth, I guess. Again, I just repeat because they showed it again. I keep seeing these nature shots, but with the budget they had, I think they did a pretty good job of capturing these woods that are so sacred to the Winnie the Pooh franchise, for lack of a better term. That lore, that story, I think they do a good job of capturing that, in my opinion. One thing I can't stand when people do is when they walk in a room that looks empty and they ask, is anybody in here? One of my least favorite things ever. Bitch, does it look like there's anybody in there? No, there wasn't. So that guy popped out, so I guess I was wrong. Look, these people at the gas station seemed way too friendly. I don't know if that was supposed to be a red herring, but I was like, are they in on this? Are they up to something? Are they working with these fucking half-breed people? But I guess not, as that will be determined later. I just love this idea that we're supposed to buy these humans en masse are the animals that we grew up with in the fucking books and show and movie. I just love it. It's so absurd. It's so ridiculous. But every time they get a close-up on Pooh, it's all I can think of. Fucking great fucking great kill in the wood chipper. It looks awesome. I know the CGI is kind of whatever, but I think they did a good job for that budget, man. I love it. The only thing I hated about it is something Brian mentioned in the first set of scenes. It's so fucking dark. I can barely see that it's her coming out of the wood chipper. So that's a little bit of a negative there. I watched it on Peacock, so my lighting was fine, and I still couldn't see anything. So there you go. Not saying that I don't care about Maria's situation. It's just kind of so far away from everything we got in the first set of scenes that I love about this movie. And again, I'm fine with some character depth and development, but I almost feel like this movie doesn't need it. Just give me cool kills. Just give me, fun shit with Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh. That's really what we came here to see. So I'm not just super wrapped up in Maria's stalker situation. I think they tried a little too hard to add something to the script there. I will say they do a good job of making the stalker guy look like a fucking creep. Just don't know if I needed that depth, but hey, no complaints. I thought this was another fun set of scenes. I'm all in. Yeah,
we get a great aerial shot of the woods after Maria's generic therapy session. And I know Brian loved that. You touched on it, Mike, but yeah, I know Brian loved that. He loves a good nature shot.
Love it.
Now, I get needing gas. Like, you need gas when your car says you need gas, but be realistic in your expectations here. Does that station really look like it's in business, Maria? Be fucking for real. Not sure what the point of the attempted jump scare was there when she bumped into the couple when she was leaving. It was very mild. Like, it wasn't a jump scare. She just bumped into someone, and it was unnecessary. I get it. The woman comes back into play at the end, but not enough to make me care. Like, it could have been anyone. We didn't need to see her here. She was unrecognizable later anyway. Some of the audio is very poor in this movie. And what I mean by that is when Maria's therapist spoke in her therapy session, and then again here when the girls get to the house, it sounded like they were talking into a tin can. That's a big pet peeve of mine. That was one of the main things that I hated about M. Night Shyamalan's last movie, Old. Like, it just drives me up a wall. Mix your audio better. Especially M. Night. You have no excuse for that. It's very confusing nudity here. Listen, I'm not one to complain about seeing some boobies, but how exactly did her shirt come off? Was that shirt made of tissue paper? What the fuck was that? But it was a brutal kill. Pooh just smashed her head in and then fed her to the wood chipper. And if I remember correctly, that's the third wood chipper death that we've covered. Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and then Evil Dead Rise being the other two. So more wood chipper death.
Sorry, I was going to say that wood chipper scene, or you're talking about, it reminded me of the beginning of a scary movie with Carmen Electra, how she just slowly came out of her shirt and just for no reason, like was just
that's exactly what it was. There was no, like, Pooh didn't even swipe at it. It's not like she was trying to get away and he grabbed at it and it ripped off. Like, it just, next thing you know, bam, her tits are out. I mean, okay. And then you mean to tell me that these are Maria's best friends and she's just now telling them about a stalker? I have a hard time buying that too. Like, and also the whole stalker storyline is just completely unnecessary. They could have just been having a girls trip. They didn't need to have a reason for getting the girls together. We didn't need an additional trauma story from a secondary antagonist, especially one that doesn't come into play ever again. They kind of mention it, like when they don't know what Pooh is, or like, is that your stalker? Like, I think that was a line that was said, but it was in passing. There was never any suspicion of, oh my God, I think it's the stalker. He found me. So we could have done without that and the therapy session in general. This was a slower set of scenes, but it sets up nicely for what we're going to see.
A light flashes and we see Pooh's face covered in blood, and I feel ridiculous saying the word Pooh in this show so much. Piglet is getting some cardio in on the bike to keep the electricity on. Pooh walks up to Christopher, who is chained up. He begs for them to stop saying, "This isn't who I remember." "I love you, Pooh. I'm sorry," he cries out. Pooh looks into the mirror and reminisces on younger Christopher Robin and the times they had hanging out. He snaps out of it and begins crying. He begins throwing stuff around and breaking pots. He grabs Eeyore's tail and whips his back with it. Pooh sits Mary's rotten skeleton in sight of Christopher, who cries out even more in agony. Pooh now showers Christopher in blood honey made from Mary's intestines. Pooh is walking the forest with a skeleton and hears music playing. He heads towards the sound as we see Laura in the hot tub drinking wine and taking selfies. She looks through the pictures and sees Pooh in the background. She's alarmed and looks around, yelling out, "Hello?" She exits the hot tub to look and ask if it's Maria's stalker. She gets the outside light back on and ignores it and gets back into the hot tub. We see Pooh and Piglet approaching from behind slowly in the flashing light. Suddenly a rag is put over her face. She passes out and she's pulled out of the hot tub. Laura is gagged and hogtied on the ground as we see Pooh in a car. Piglet walks towards her, dragging the sledgehammer. He puts his foot on her back, holding her down, as Pooh drives over her head slowly, crushing her skull. She lets out a scream, and Piglet lets out a squeal that the others hear, and they go to find her. All right, Brian, this next set of scenes, what do you think?
Honestly, at the beginning of this, I thought it was a really good shot of Pooh's face at the start of this, where the light's going on and off before, we're shown Piglet, who is, I guess, feeding the generator. I'm not real sure how that works if you aren't constantly doing that, but I don't know. Who cares? Great shot. But then we get this weird BDSM shit between Julie McGee, Pooh Bear Williams here with hair that I'm assuming is supposed to be Eeyore's. Like, I don't know. That looks nothing like a tail, but the nail, it's got to be. It's got to be. Nice of them to go eat him, but keep that around for some weird kinky shit like this. Then go, here's your freshly, perfectly still intact skeleton of your wife oh, look, here's her guts in a shower. Jesus fucking Christ. That was a little intense there. Then we get who I called Wish.com Bella Thorne in the hot tub. And I've got to be honest, of everyone I thought would flash her tits in this movie, 80s horror style, I thought it would be her. First of all, I thought they took her phone, but here we are with it. And if you're going to have her see Pooh in the picture of herself when she zooms in, why does she just kind of ignore it and go back to laying in the tub? I mean, that's some high-end don't give a shit right there. And I'm actually pretty impressed, to be honest. And then we get her death right after the fake out with the piglet walking up, dragging the sledgehammer. I don't know whose car that is exactly, but hell yeah, that looked awesome on this budget. Props to David Foxley and Rebecca Wheeler, the makeup department. It's just, I don't even know who all to give props to on that, but I thought they did a fantastic job on what I know is a little budget.
Yeah, I love this shot of Pooh's face with the flashing light, the blood. Like, I think it looks really cool. Now, again, it's one of those things like you only put this in the movie because it looks cool, not for any other reason. Just like, yeah, this would be a cool visual. Let's throw this in there. And I'm glad they did. I think it was pretty good. I actually thought they did a decent job because I guess I just didn't see the same thing that Dustin did, but I thought they did a decent enough job of making me not know whether Christopher Robin was alive or dead. So maybe I was actually confused, but it ended up being right on accident. That's the only thing I could think of. But I actually thought that they did a decent job not letting me know until this scene. But anyway, Brian's not wrong. That's why you never fucking promise that you're never going to leave anybody, because you cannot guarantee that shit. And so when you actually have to fucking leave, you become the biggest asshole and cause the other person pain. And that's what Christopher Robin did with all these fucking friends he had. So like Brian mentioned, I'm not saying it's deserved, but I'm not saying it's undeserved. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, if the flashback scene that Pooh had is correct, he said, "I'll never leave you. We'll be together forever." Like, straight out of fucking the fucking Ted movie that Seth MacFarlane did. That's what it sounded like to me. But yeah, I mean, oh shit, my bad. I thought we were about to have a little jam session there. Anyway, but they're just trying really hard to get me to invest emotionally in a fake fucking bear, and they almost get me. Like, I'm like, well, I kind of feel bad for Pooh here, man. I'm not gonna lie, but it didn't last long. Pooh having like an abusive father style meltdown was not something I had on my bingo card either. He's just throwing shit after coming in drunk. That's how that looks. The whip scene is tough to watch, man. It is hard to watch his back get tore up like that. I thought the effects actually looked pretty good. Now, clearly, it's probably like some kind of mold that just stayed on there, but I thought it looked pretty good. It's a whip scene in the movie. I don't deserve to be gallant over that. Come on, man.
I'm just saying, you said him getting his back blowed out looked good. That's wild.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said. Do not twist my words. That is not what I said. We'll have to go to the replay on that one, buddy. I'm throwing the challenge flag on this. That's all I'm saying. But whatever the fuck was in that tub was absolutely fucking disgusting. God, I thought it looked terrible. However, I would gladly take a selfie with this young woman. I mean, this looks like a good time. Hot tub. There's fucking Christmas lights up, so that's the right kind of queen of my double wide we all need in our life. Like, it's probably June and the lights are still up. That's how you know, man. That's how you know where she's from. Look, I disagree, I guess. I just, over my time talking about this movie, I'm just going to take a stance. I think these masks are great horror movie masks. Like, they really would be better if we weren't trying to believe they were Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. They were just on two random dudes in another slasher movie. I could get down with these masks. I think they do a good job kind of lighting them to making them look scary as fuck. This would be one hell of a way to die right here. Like, this is agony personified. And I thought the visuals were pretty good. Watching someone's head get squished, I thought the visuals were pretty good. The only thing that I really didn't like was the fucking eyeball. Last thing, and how I feel about Pooh in this movie is how Dustin feels about Michael Myers and Halloween. How the fuck did Pooh learn to drive?
I have that in my notes as well.
Did that happen? Go ahead, Dustin.
The close-ups we get of Pooh here are disappointing. Like, the mask already looks bad enough, but seeing that it's clearly rubber hurt, they should have at least covered it in yellow fur first. Like, that wouldn't have taken much more out of the budget. It couldn't have. So you just get some cheap-ass fur, glue it to the mask, and boom, it looks more like a bear. Laura being alone in the hot tub is a little too convenient for the story for me. I have doubts she'd already be away from the group on night one, or that the others wouldn't have wanted to get in the hot tub with her. I get that they made her character self-absorbed and whatnot, but nah, I didn't like that. Great shot of Pooh and Piglet approaching her in the flashes of the light behind her, though. That was awesome. But you're telling me these animals can drive? Yep, that's the next thing in my notes. Michael Myers driving is far-fetched, but at least he's a fucking human. Like, these are animals who have never seen a car, to our knowledge. Brutal kill, though. Driving over her head and her eye popping out was awesome. The effects were bad, but I get it due to the budget. Like, I wish that this movie would have had, $1 million budget or more. Like, just the awesome effects that we got and the brutality on the kills that we got could have been amplified so much more had they had more money. It's a better set of scenes than the last because we got some action and we see that Chris is still alive. So I'm anxious to see where we go.
Hey man, you can fund the next one. Dustin, honey, you got $1 million, no problem.
I think you meant to say Brian.
Or Mike can afford it too. Jess and Maria see the front door open and then find Laura's headless body. They run inside and see "Get Out" written in blood on the windows. Maria says we need to call the police. They hear a noise, then see Pooh outside the glass door with a swarm of bees around him. Zoe and Alice go to get weapons from the kitchen. Maria thinks it's her stalker, and Jess says she's not alone. I'm with you. The women all meet back up. Zoe and Alice leave to go close the pool door, and suddenly Maria remembers she has a gun, but not where she put it. She finds it in the drawer, and they stop at the top of the steps, seeing Pooh walking around the room. Zoe and Alice make it to the pool room, and they confess their love for each other. Piglet appears, knocking Alice out, and Zoe falls into the pool. She calls it a freak to distract from attacking Alice. Piglet pursues her in the pool and kills her with several sledgehammer swings. Alice passes out from the trauma. Maria and Jess think Pooh is Zoe walking by and find Zoe's dead body in the pool. They see Pooh and Piglet carrying Alice's body away. They debate shooting them now, but don't want to risk hitting Alice. Alice is tied down as we see Pooh eating honey. Pooh hovers Alice and begins slobbering all over her face. He now smacks the shit out of her repeatedly. She's unconscious as Maria and Jess find her and untie her. She wakes up in a panic, asking where's Zoe. They walk off until they hear a woman scream. They find Christopher bound. After a moment's pause, they get him free. They hear the woman scream again. He says she was brought in this morning and tells them to go help her. He'll be fine. All right, Brian, next set of scenes, what do you think?
So pretty much the only reason I know this girl's name is Jess is because Nico wrote it on the scene by scene. I just wrote down that it was Maria and Wish.com Sophie Turner with glasses. But look, there's some good shots in this house. Terrible dialogue though. Talking about the "Get Out" on the windows, written by some obviously well-educated people who can read and write, by the way. But whoever it is probably wrote that. That sent me for real. Like, I had to pause it. I was like, did she really just fucking say that? That was insane. But like I said, some great shots. There's a fantastic shot of Pooh standing outside the door, like looking around, that I didn't notice until that last rewatch that there were some CGBs flying around him, which makes that kill later like actually make more sense. It's, it's kind of being set up here. Maybe it's somewhere else too, but it's just so damn dark to see. I could barely see him here. I love how these girls split up as, I guess, is it Maria that suddenly remembers she has a gun? And not just any gun. It's fucking Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry fucking gun. And I guess we didn't have blanks in the budget because we never use it. So not real sure the point of having her even have a gun, to be honest. But the random inside pool scene was pretty badass. Like, I truthfully had no idea the girl who died here in the pool, like what's her fucking name? But it was pretty badass. It had some really cool under the water shots and that slow motion baseball swing across the face. Mwah! Just chef's kiss. Great shot. Maybe my favorite kill. Best looking effects. The whole shebang. That was kind of Trump-like, wasn't it? The best kill. All the best people agree. Not my bad. But the rest of the set, just meh. The lighting really hurts it here because, you can barely see what the hell's going on. The music, though, again, I really liked it. I don't understand the hate for it. Go ahead. I'll fucking let y'all have the rest of the scene. I've talked enough. I feel like there's a ton going on in this group of scene, including the girl getting bitch slapped into oblivion and then having no marks on her face moments later. But go ahead.
Got slapped the fuck down with nothing to show for it. That's a waste of goddamn time. Give me some marks. Look, I kind of agree with you. I feel like we waste a little bit of time in this set of scenes. The movie's only an hour and 24 minutes. I feel like it could have been even shorter here. There's just a little bit that I would probably cut off. Get Out on the windows is so fucking cheesy. It's written with like perfect fucking penmanship. I love it. I don't care. I love that it's so fucking bad and terrible. I love it. Some of the stuff in the house, it just kind of feels like a weight. It's very standard, or waste, excuse me. It's standard slasher stuff, but I kind of feel like, as much as I like that, I kind of feel like we're spinning our wheels here. Let's get on down the road. I still think Piglet's noises are great. Every time he fucking squeals, I laugh my ass off. There's some, don't do anything, okay? Just talking about the pig in the movie, man. Just talking about the pig in the movie. I wonder how, when they were making this film, how they kind of lucked into this house. Like, I thought they did a good job picking a location, a house that has a pool, all kinds of shit, just like a really weird hideout. I thought it was pretty cool. Holy fuck, I love this baseball bat to the head kill. I thought it was awesome. The way it looked, the way they shoot it, the blood in the pool. Fucking love this kill. It's awesome. Badass visuals. Again, I feel like we're wasting more time. There's some cool visuals. Pooh standing, and I love the music, but I just feel like we linger in this set of scenes a little too much. I'm not going to lie. As soon as they find Christopher Robin, yeah, I'm probably leaving too. That's just a tough break, my man. Hope everything turns out well for you, and I'm leaving. I'm going to pretend I never saw that motherfucker. That's all I got.
All right. I'm not sure why Piglet and Pooh would warn them with a message on the window. Seems like they would just kill them. Like, get out is not the right thing to have them write in blood. Your necks might have been, but we've seen your necks be written on the wall in blood recently. I don't know. Just get out didn't fit. Then we find out that it wasn't a warning. They never intended on letting them leave, so it made it even more pointless. Piglet with his best Triple H impression in the pool popped me. I love a good sledgehammer swing pause. It's all about the game and how you play it, and that game was not meant to be played in the water. This has got to be an ideal scenario for Chris, though. Man is facing sure death, and he's freed by three hot women to help him get over the loss of his fiancée. I've had dreams that were similar to this. My man is thriving, but then he disappears. This is the least amount of notes that I've got in the movie, though. It's an okay set of scenes. I'm just curious how it plays out from here.
They see Charlene chained up, and she begs for their help. Charlene tells them about what Pooh and Piglet are. They get her free and help her walk out. Charlene breaks down seeing her reflection and what they've done to her. She begins screaming, and they beg her to hush. Charlene takes a gun and yells for Piglet. She shoots off a bullet, and Piglet appears, letting out a battle squeal. She shoots at him again, but the gun doesn't fire. She backs into Pooh, who gets her to the ground and covers her face in honey, and Piglet eats her face. The women watch on in horror. Pooh notices them, and Maria and Jess take off running. Zoe mollywops Piglet with the sledgehammer. Maria uses a torch to fend off Pooh until she takes off running into the woods. That was Alice who mollywops Piglet. Wrote the name down wrong. My bad. Piglet is chained and bound now as Alice smacks him, waking him up. Alice kills Piglet with the sledgehammer in vengeance for killing her friends. Pooh hears Piglet's death cry and runs to help. He grabs Alice and kills her, shoving a machete into her mouth and out the back of her head, pinning her to the tree, Bob style. Pooh chases after Maria and Jess now. They make it to the road and stop an oncoming truck. And the next set of scenes are the ending. What do you think, Brian?
Going back to that last set of scenes, Dustin, you would have made more sense if they wrote on the window, if they wrote the Chick-fil-A cows where it says you're dead, DED, or just some shit, some crazy shit. That would have made more sense to me anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Or give me all your honey instead of your money. Get it? Because he's Pooh.
There you go. Anyway, this is my least favorite set of scenes here. So at first I was like, who the hell is this girl? I mean, I completely forgot Maria ran into her and her husband. Nowhere to be found here, by the way, the husband, at that gas station. Why didn't we get another scene with them killing that guy?
Yeah.
I read that they went back and did a ton of reshoots because it kept getting more money after going viral online. Why didn't they shoot a scene with him getting killed? I mean, maybe they did and didn't use it. I don't know. It was left on the cutting room floor. But Charlene says Pooh and Piglet call themselves that. How do they know that if they don't talk? And vowed not to talk according to the open. But, yeah. Oh, I lied. We did fire the gun off once here, but apparently we only had one bullet. When she was asking, why me? He should have said, because you were home. I thought that would have been funny. But this is where the movie lost me. And I don't mean, this movie sucks, I'm not paying attention. I mean, what the fuck is going on? And I'm seriously lost here. Mostly because it's dark as fuck and I don't know who anyone is. But I've seen this movie 3 damn times now. Okay, so one of the girls, I think this is Alice. Truthfully, I don't know. But she hits Pooh with the sledgehammer, and then we cut to that cave thing that's lit by the torches, and Pooh is there chasing two of them. And then it appears Maria is the one with the torch trying to push them off, or push Pooh off. And then we cut to the woods where I really can't see shit. But someone is clearly running when we cut to Piglet being tied up somehow. And one of them tortured him. I mean, did they mess up and mean to have her hit Piglet earlier with the sledgehammer? I don't know. Because otherwise, that's the only thing that makes sense. Like, and I say she because I have no idea which one of it is. But she's torturing Piglet, and she says, "This is for Laura." And I'm like, who the fuck was that? And this is for Zoe. Don't remember her. And this is for that woman you tortured. I was like, oh, shit, you don't remember her name either. Good deal. At least we're on the same page with one of them. But what a fucking awesome kill with hanging her up with that machete. I mean, that shit was badass as well. But again, did those two girls just follow Pooh back to the camp? Because suddenly they're right there again. So I'm super fucking confused with just the logistics of what the hell's going on right now. I just know that that one chick was given another fucking awesome kill. And we have Wish.com, Sophie Turner, and Maria, I think, still on the run. So I don't know. Somebody clear this shit up for me, Mike.
I was pretty lost myself here, brother. I do like when Alice, is tied up. She mentioned them being half bear, half pig. You know where I went to, Dustin. Half bear, half pig, half man. You could say this shit's getting super ethereal. Super serial. Man, bear, pig. Just shout out to Al Gore, he invented the internet. Anyway, I like when Alice, again, question mark, looks in the mirror and just shrieks in horror, like, "Oh my god, I'm ugly as fuck now. That sucks." Like, I don't know. I'm sure it's terrifying, but I gotta laugh out of it for some reason. She's a dumb bitch, though. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't call her that, but just like walking around antagonizing Piglet, shooting a gun off for no fucking reason, like she's a badass. Like, then ask Piglet, why me? The fuck do you mean, why you? You and Laurie Strode got a lot in common. This shit ain't about you, motherfucker. You're just in the fucking way. I hate that kind of shit. Where a film that doesn't need to be deep tries to be deep. No, man. Just fucking kill this woman. Anyway, this part of the film, there's just some bad acting all around. I don't like the stuff in the cave. A lot of the chasing is just not good. This woman can barely swing a hammer, and she's like hitting Piglet, and it looks like it's bouncing off the rubber. Thought that was pretty bad. Not well shot, not well made there, in my opinion. It should have gotten Rhea Ripley to swing that hammer. Anyway, but my problem is one swing of the hammer from this woman is all it, well, not one, but like a few, it's all it took to take out Piglet after all the crazy shit these two fuckers have done. That's what it took? Okay, man. That I'm having a hard time buying. And I let things go. Knife stab through the mouth is fucking awesome, though. That is a cool kill. And I do like the fact that kind of improved upon the Bob kill. You mentioned, Bob style. That almost makes more sense now. All the way. All right. Pause. It goes all the way through the mouth and out of the back of the head to where they can hold up someone's weight. I think that's a little more realistic. So shout out to them for doing this. I will say last thing, you talked about Pooh being able to move earlier in the film. Him running around chasing them is fucking hilarious. He kind of runs like a really fast Shrek, and I get a kick out of it every time. So again, there's a lot here that I can't forgive as like so bad it's good. It's just kind of bad, but I still love the movie.
What happened to you? Bitch, maybe untie her and get all the details once you're out of the danger zone. I don't know, maybe. Also, danger zone, of course, I automatically went to Kenny Loggins, who I then found out did a Winnie the Pooh musical. So that's crazy. Anyway.
I thought you were about to David Arquette somehow right there. Like,
no. No, this is Kenny Loggins only tonight. How did Charlene know the Pooh and Piglet's names? Like, they don't talk.
Exactly.
Chris should have been the one who said that part. Like, he should have been the one explaining what's going on to these girls, not Charlene. And then Charlene is up there for the worst character we've ever covered. Yelling and screaming when she sees her reflection. Yeah, that's not smart. Attract the murderous wildlife. And who could have predicted that it would have went poorly for her? Like, that just pissed me off to no ends. Pooh stabbing Alice through the mouth was awesome, though. Like, pinning her to the pole, that was cool as hell. That was like a PETA wet dream when the animals fight back and they're killing the humans. Like, that was awesome. I'm ready for the finale at this point, though. No, Brian, you mentioned how the sledgehammer took out Pooh, and then flashback, Piglet's the one chained up. I'll be honest with you. I had a hard time. The lighting was so bad you couldn't tell the color of the mask. When we're only seeing them from behind, I had a hard time at points telling, is that Piglet, is that Pooh? So I didn't even notice that it was Pooh that got hit, I don't think. And I'm not buying at all that she could subdue Piglet by herself. Like, even if she did crack him with the sledgehammer. We've seen that these animals are tough as nails. You know, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. But anyway, these girls should have been long gone a long time ago. So let's wrap this movie up at this point.
All right, guys, here's the ending. They run to the truck asking for help. They say he's coming for us. They think the girls are on drugs and they ain't making no sense. The guys see Pooh in the road and the women get into the truck. The guys get weapons and mock Pooh and threaten to kill him if he doesn't start talking. They call Pooh tough and start attacking him with a baseball bat, crowbar, sledgehammer, and a glass bottle. Pooh is resilient and fights back now. He kills Colt with a swipe to the face, ripping his flesh off. He runs to the truck but dies as he slides down the window. Tucker has his hand ripped off and his head stomped. Logan has his throat slit and John is killed by the swarm of bees as he runs away. The girls run over Pooh, but he climbs into the back of the truck and onto the top of it. The girls slam the brakes, launching him off, also knocking themselves out. Maria wakes up seeing Jess being snatched out of the truck. Pooh drags her to the front and decapitates her, throwing her head into the windshield. Maria can't get the truck crunked back up, and Pooh pulls her out of the truck now. He grabs her and goes to kill her until Christopher Robin appears in a car, smashing Pooh in between the two trucks. Christopher exits the truck, checking on Maria. Pooh wakes up coughing up blood and pushes the truck off of him and gets free. The truck explodes into a fire, and Pooh grabs Maria. Christopher begs Pooh to let her free and he'll stay with him. Pooh says, "You left," and cuts Maria's throat. She falls into his arms, and he lies her on the ground. Christopher takes off running as Pooh stabs into Maria's head repeatedly. We see shots around the crash, and the film ends. Brian, what do you think about that ending?
That's not bad. I mean, and hey, so who knew this movie would be educational as well? Because the Brits have rednecks over there. I mean, is this for real? Like, I learn something every week when you do this show. They had another great line too. Is this who's been chasing you? And the girl replies, "No, you don't understand." I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, or else I really don't know what the fuck's going on here. And this may not make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but you know these rednecks remind me of, and this will definitely date the show, but you know that TikTok, or maybe it was a Vine turned into a TikTok, I don't know. But you have that really skinny dude with the glasses, and then there's a fat dude with no teeth, and they have these monster logo tattoos and say, "I'd really hate to be the dude that fucks with us." And the other guy says, "You think?" If you don't know that video I'm talking about, go look it up. Just Google "you think" plus monster tattoos. That's who these rednecks guys remind me of. Anyway, I said a whole lot to get to that. But this finale is pretty damn fun. I mean, literally all the budget was probably spent here, I think. We get some over-the-top gore and kills, head stomps, karate chopping arms off, bees we can barely see because it's so damn dark. A car chase scene that looked better than the car chase scene at the end of Saw with Danny Glover. So come on with that. A car explosion. Pooh tossing Wish Sophie Turner's head into the windshield was fucking awesome. Christopher Robin being a pussy again. Not doing anything but begging Pooh. I mean, he comes back to literally get on his knees and plead to Pooh, "Why won't you stop? Please." Like, fuck you, Christopher Robin. Look, let's go. I'm ready for the sequel, and actually, let's name the sequel that. Winnie the Pooh, fuck you, Christopher Robin.
That's damn good. It's these nice gas station people again. The Wish.com version of the Firefly family. That's what I kept thinking of. I'm like, who the fuck are these Rob Zombie ripoffs, man? And they're going to be the ones to beat up this massive Pooh Bear killing machine. All right, man. So this scene, and Nico mentioned it earlier, is right out of Halloween Kills. What the fuck is this? They ripped this off so bad. Even the way it's shot, almost they keep coming around from different angles while they keep hitting Pooh with different objects. God, I thought it was honestly, it was more fun because of that. I thought it ripped it directly off. Look, a fucking face rip. I love it. Brutal, fucking great look as far as the effects go. Thought it was awesome. Badass head stomp, which thank you. Everyone knows I'm in favor of a big head stomp kill unless it looks like Dr. Sartain's did. I didn't think that looked very good. This ending sequence is just a lot of fun to me. It's a fucking man and a bear mask beating the fuck out of people until Christopher Robin runs him over, who's also a little bitch. What more do you want? And Christopher Robin has a gnarly face gash that I thought almost looked like, and Dustin knows what I'm talking about, looked like Jillian Hall with that fake growth back in the day. Just the nastiest storyline they've ever had, in my opinion, and they've had some bad ones. Look, Pooh is badass. I mean, he takes no fucking prisoner. While Christopher Robin is begging for this woman's life like a little bitch instead of trying to fight him, he hits him with the "you left" and then slits her fucking throat. What a badass killer, man. And again, at the end, he just hugs this woman until she dies. They barely fucking know each other. They just met, act like they've been friends for years. So yeah, again, I like that this movie didn't end on this like big happy note. Pooh fucking wins. And I agree with Brian, even all the way down to the name of the movie. Fuck Christopher Robin. There you go. That's my final thought.
So this is actually the most notes that I have, is the ending. These idiots in the road. I get it. There's 4 of you and one of what you think is just a man in a costume, but 3 girls just ran at you panicked. And this fella's standing in the road menacingly unfazed. Get in the damn truck and go. But in their defense, they should have told the guys that Pooh had killed countless people, so they didn't really know the real danger. But still, just read the room. When you crack him in the face with a crowbar and he barely flinches, maybe now leave. Why did Pooh hit a growth spurt after the bottle was cracked over his head, though? Like, it was just the camera angles, but it made him look 9 feet tall suddenly, out of nowhere. So I didn't like that. It's an insane kill when Pooh stomped the guy's head. Hell yeah, turn that up. When they run Pooh over, it reminded me of something that I've always wondered that's not related to movies or cinema at all. Why don't trucks have a button on the inside of the truck to let the tailgate down? Like cars have a button or latch to pop the trunk. Trucks should have one. I could use one in my trunk. It would be nice to have. Could have saved them some stress because he used the tailgate to pull himself up. Anyway, and then why did they crash when she slammed on the brakes? Maria has a bloody face and she's concussed. Why? They didn't hit anything. They just slammed on the brakes. And then the truck wouldn't start? Please. Would have liked to have seen the other girl's head being ripped off, though. Like, how did he do it? He's walking, dragging her. Next thing we know, she's headless. Like, where did her body go? Her body disappeared, too. Didn't like that. And why didn't Maria shut the passenger side door? She has left it open, making it way too easy for Pooh to grab her. And suddenly Chris shows back up to save the day, or so we thought. Where the hell's he been? Like, what the fuck? What was going on here? And then Pooh is one ruthless bastard. He sliced her throat and watched her bleed out in Chris's arms and then carved her up like a Thanksgiving turkey. Just in cold blood. Brutal. But that's it? Did Chris live? Did Pooh let him go? It's kind of a weird cliffhanger to end on because Pooh wasn't pursuing Chris, so there's not even a, okay, now he's going to get Chris and then credits. It's just like they're 10 feet apart and credits. So it was kind of a weird, flat ending, but had some interesting stuff in it.
All right, guys, jumping to our social media comments and questions. We'll do Instagram first. Matt Strickland, M Strickland 91 commented, excited to hear this one. Haven't watched it yet, though. Been kind of on the fence about it purely for its aesthetics. Having said that, that's a little selfish and something I can possibly overlook if the story has good enough bones. Get it, fellas. Gormy Goes Keto. What other children's story that became Disney-fied, do you think has horror movie potential? I feel like
Alice in fucking Wonderland would be awesome.
I think Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is what I was going to say. Like that would be a good one.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Be a really good one.
Hell yeah. Any of those fairy tales really could be.
Maybe
it really could be.
Maybe Up, like the old man's wife dies, so he goes on a murder spree.
Oh man, come on. Man.
I haven't seen Up.
Oh my god, pal.
God damn it, you ain't seen shit.
Hey, Nico, if you want your heart ripped out through your asshole within the first 2 minutes of a Disney movie, watch Up. It's the saddest shit that's ever been made.
I cried like a baby bat. I cried like Christopher Robin.
Well, I just said it. The guy's wife dies, but just the way that they tell the story and the way they show it, like you don't see her die. Obviously, it's a Disney movie, but just fire up the old Disney Plus and watch the first 3 minutes of Up. You don't have to watch the whole movie.
Gut wrench.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
just
Gut
get
wrench.
sad and don't get happy again. That's what Dustin's saying.
Yeah.
It's like, just go cry and say, fuck off and go to bed.
Yeah, I like to do
Yeah,
that
pretty
sometimes.
much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Missy Hutchinson Wild comment. I wonder if Pooh goes on his murderous rampage with just a red shirt on, or if he'll find some pants this time. No, my man found He
Spoiler
found
alert.
Jason's leftover
I'm about to say
overalls
he
and
found-
flannel.
He found Sackhead Jason's outfit.
I had issue with that too. Like, it's in my notes for my final thoughts, but why the fuck were they wearing clothes? They're getting back to their animal instincts and they're not talking, but they're still going to wear clothes, and it looks like they do laundry because that flannel was not
it's so
disgusting.
absurd.
Come
That's
on.
so absurd. I love
Yeah,
it.
Pooh's
I love
Pooh's
it.
overalls were looking crispy. All right,
Yeah.
Jay Hambrick 88 comment. I've been wanting to watch it. Now I have a reason to. I can't wait for the review, guys. I like the fact that our fans wait until we review something to go watch it. I
That's
like
pretty
that.
cool.
Oh, yeah, brother.
It's pretty cool.
All right, let's jump over to the old Twitters. This one's funny. I'm going to save his comment for last. Sean, the Glee Man, commented, I went into this movie expecting the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Ironic coming from you, my friend.
Yeah, no shit.
And I actually had fun watching it. It was complete trash,
No
but
disrespect.
it was complete trash, but enjoyable trash, and far from the worst movie I've watched this year. Okay. Mookie commented, I hated everything about this movie. The look of Winnie and Friends was complete shit. It felt like the only thing they tried to do was be the first Winnie the Pooh horror movie, and everything was done on the fly and as they thought about it. The backstory for why they kill is stupid. Hard to argue with that.
I mean, the whole movie's stupid.
I don't know. I say you got to kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit here and just buy in. It's a fairy tale.
Hey, man,
Fairy tale.
just take an edible before you watch
Brothers Grimm. Yeah, it's a brother. Yeah, it's a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. You know. What are you
it. All
gonna
right, and this legit made me LOL. Andrew Ferguson, big friend of the show, former legendary blood donor. He's got J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man with the laughing gif. This movie was as painful to watch as y'all's individual Twitter feeds before, during, and after a FSU rivalry game.
Oh, damn.
That got a good chuckle out of me. I appreciate that one, Andrew.
what are you gonna do?
All right, guys, y'all got any fun facts? Go ahead.
I only have one. I did want to see Tigger, but according to IMDb, his copyright is different, so they couldn't use him. So that was the only one.
The sequel. I would look out for Tigger in the sequel. Supposedly, the rights came up.
I'd like to see like Tigger, the owl, Kanga, and Roo, the rabbit. Like, there's a lot of missing characters, but Pooh and Piglet were the main ones.
IP.
I got a few. In Hong Kong and Macau, the movie was pulled from cinemas just 2 days before its release. Cinema chains in 2 cities cited, quote, technical reasons as the cause. The classic character Winnie the Pooh has been used to mock China's president, not going to try to say his name, by people, I don't know what that word is, and pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. So he's been used to mock the president, so they pulled the movies, the roundabout way of saying that. The movie was initially shot in just 8 days. That's impressive. That makes sense why Reese Frake Waterfield has so many movies on his IMDb. Like, if you look, he's got a shit ton of movies that he's made in the past few years. So he's cranking them out every 8 days. I mean, that makes sense. While the copyright for Winnie the Pooh lapsed in the United States in 2022, the copyright will stay in place in Europe until 2027, 70 years after the death of A.A. Milne, which makes it very hard to legally distribute this film in European countries. And then throughout the movie, I mean, if you watch the movie, you notice this. This isn't really a fun fact, but throughout the movie, Pooh only says a total of 2 words while Piglet remains silent. And his words weren't really audible. He kind of grunted when he said them, so I had to have the subtitles on to even catch those 2 words.
All right. So this movie was made on, like I said earlier, a shoestring budget of $100,000, which is basically fucking pennies to Dustin and Brian. I know,
Whoa.
but $100,000
Well, that's
was the budget here.
That's even crazier. You have a budget of only $100,000, and your clothes look new. They couldn't even go get used clothes for these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe save some money on the wardrobe and go get some fucking yellow fur for the mask so it looks like a bear.
Look, me and Nico do a podcast with 2 really rich people, so we know they wouldn't understand.
You have another one?
But if this movie took in theaters a cool $5 million on a $100,000 budget, that's fucking nuts, man. That is insane. Talk about making your fucking money back. That's awesome, and that's why we're getting a sequel.
Yep, they killed it. They went viral, and Us horror fans, we had to see it, didn't we? Anywho, let's jump to our favorite kill, least favorite kill in the rating. I'll go first just to knock this out. I hate to do it, but I'm still in Dead Meat's favorite and least favorite kill. My favorite kill is Alice, the machete through the mouth, through the back of the head, pinning her to the tree. That's a great kill. But Laura has a great kill too, running her head over. But like y'all mentioned, the eye popping out looked pretty bad, and the blood was very obvious CGI. So I got to go with Alice and the machete. Least favorite kill is definitely the guy in the mob with the fucking bee swarming him. That was fucking stupid. I hated that shit. Like, throw a knife at him or something. I hated the bees just swarming him. Anywho, I think we all kind of feel the same way, so I'm not going to talk too long. You got to go in this movie with the right expectations. You're not going to see, Shutter Island or Ari Aster or Robert Eggers. You're not going in to see nothing like that. You got to go with the right mindset and just have a good time with it. But because there's terrible dialogue, there's some bad looking CGI. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet very obviously have masks on. They're not real animals. They don't even look close to it. So just go in and have fun. I gave the movie a 5.
My favorite kill, and there's a ton to pick from, by the way, but I'll take the bat/sledgehammer in the pool. I just thought it was really sudden, really cool. Love the way they made the effects look. Honorary mention to the mouth stab. I thought it was awesome. Really fucking cool kill. My least favorite is the opening kill. It's really the only one you can't see that well. Like, as far as it's just like they don't actually show the kill, and it's not like super gory or super creative or super fun. So I thought it was fine. But anyway, so I had a great time with it. It's fast paced. It's a fun little slasher that requires zero thinking while watching. Just straight up old school, cool kills, badass villains. And I'm overlooking some giant flaws that we've all mentioned. Bad dialogue, bad acting, bad gore, bad CGI, all of that. I'm overlooking a lot of that because I had a really good time just watching Winnie the Pooh and fucking Piglet kill people. I am down for the sequel in the franchise here because I think it'd be a lot of fun to continue this trend. And I have a strange feeling I'm going to have the highest score, so I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of the way. I get this movie a 7.5.
Holy shit.
Enjoyability factor weighs in for me on this one.
Damn, go ahead,
Right.
Dustin.
The movie is objectively like a 4, but for my enjoyability, I'd put this on before I would something like Antlers or something. I know Dustin wouldn't because his favorite actor is in Antlers, but I would pick this over Antlers.
Anyway, that kid might have been the only person in the world who had worse internet than Mike. Favorite kill?
No one has worse internet than me, pal.
Favorite kill to me was Captain Save-A-Ho getting his head stomped. I loved it. Like, he shows up trying to be a hero and then gets his head squished. It was awesome. Least favorite kill for me was the chick at the end who was mysteriously beheaded. Just because, yeah, I agree with what you said. The bees, okay. And I get what you said, Mike, about we didn't really get to see her death in the open, but we at least got to see her charred bones, so we know what happened. Her kappa was dictated from her body, as Michael Scott would say. As far as my rating and general thoughts or closing thoughts, I thought it was fun. Some things I didn't like what I mentioned before, and also how I said they were returning to their natural animal instincts, but not talking and still wore human clothes. Okay, but it was a fresh take on classic characters. This is my kind of nostalgia because it's a completely new story, not rehashing the story we've seen a lot of times and adding a little few twists here and there. This is a complete reimagination of Winnie the Pooh. It's far from perfect, but for the budget, I liked it. The budget issues and the ending held it back from a higher score, but I gave it a 5.
Okay. My favorite kill, I'm going to go with the chick in the indoor pool as well that gets sledgehammered, slow motion. Love it. My least favorite kill, it's maybe a cop-out, but the husband or the boyfriend or whatever he was from the store that we never got to see killed off screen. I thought that was shitty. This movie is a cheap cash grab, but what does that even mean? I mean, what isn't a cash grab, right? Word is we're getting a Peter Pan, Bambi, and a sequel to this from the same group of people, and you know what? I'm in. Sign me up. Like I said earlier, Snow White has got to be in the public domain by now. I want to see some 7 dwarves killing some folks in the medieval days or something. Let's go. I'm going to give this a 4.25, and I thought that was pretty high because I said, oh, it's fun as hell. Wow, 7.5, Mike. Okay. Look.
Enjoyability. I can't help it. I had such a good time with it. It's so fucking stupid. I love it.
Me too, and that's why we gave it a 4.25.
Hey, man, I got to do what I got to do.
Makes zero sense. This movie makes zero sense, but whatever. I mean, sometimes you just need one of those type of movies that you don't have to think. You just go in and have fun, like Mike said. So
it's a good popcorn movie, man. I love it.
So with Mike's crazy score, that gives us a composite score of 5.4375. IMDb, it's got 24,000 votes, which isn't a lot, but they've got it at a 2.9. It just shows that all 24,000 people who rated this movie went into it with the wrong expectations.
Thank you.
What are you doing? It's fucking Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Are you? Anyway.
And it's not like poorly made. You know what I'm saying? It's got some good. It's got some good camera shots. I mean, it looks decent. Like it doesn't like. We've seen some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'll just move on. But 2.9 is a little ridiculous. Let's shout out our blood donors. Really appreciate y'all support. Y'all take a big burden off of us. I'm gonna shout out Christina Tower. We did her review last week, The Fog. Y'all go check that episode out. Really appreciate that. Michael Evans is a new Final Guide donor. Rachel McLaughlin. She is a legendary blood donor. Really appreciate you. Rochelle Mack, shout out to her. She's awesome. And Fraser Rice, a Dream Warrior level blood donor. Appreciate you, man. Camper level reoccurring, Clayton J, Nina, Michelle Mirza, the Horror Movie Crew Podcast, Alex Seligson, Eric Doolittle, Sean Irwin, Kelsey Miller, my boy CJ, Christopher James, and Michael Evans. Camp Counselor reoccurring, Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Kylie Denise, all the way from Australia, Adrian Aiello, Karen, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Matt Strickland, and a new Camp Counselor reoccurring blood donor, Brooke Maley. Really appreciate all of our blood donors. Mike, before your internet craps out again, you announce your pick for next week?
Buddy, that was time number 2. So, Brian, I apologize. I'm gonna have my apartment complex send you a nice chunk of change for Christmas, man. I can't help it. I don't pay for this shit. If you want to buy me some better internet, send me a loan, will you? Anyway, I do apologize, brother. I sincerely mean that. So my pick for next week, and Dustin has no idea to blame but himself here. I picked Terrifier 2. I know that Brian and Dustin are dreading this, so this should be a whole lot of fun. It's going to be a great discussion episode as well. And Dustin's flicking me off, but he has nobody to blame.
I'm flicking Nico off. I'm flicking Nico off because I thought we were all on. I thought we were in this together, and now he fucking mysteriously likes the movie. But no, and you're right. I have no one to blame but myself. It's not even because of the theme. I fucked myself on this one because we were talking about movies, and I said I've only seen, what was it? Wrong Turn or Hills Have Eyes?
It was Wrong Turn. It was like Wrong Turn 3.
I was like, I haven't seen the third or fourth one, and I plan to keep it that way. And you said, would you rather see The Wrong Turn 3 or 4 or Terrifier 2? And I said Wrong Turn, absolutely, because Terrifier 2, I watched 10 minutes of it or so. I was like, fuck this, it's awful. And you're like, oh, Terrifier 2 it is because I'm an asshole.
Congratulations. Motherfucker, you bully me every day.
Me?
Fuck you. Congratulations, you played yourself. Watch some Art the Take this Art the Clown date. Let's go home, Nico.
Thanks for listening, guys. Just want to remind everybody,